as we wrap up another incredible year here at the Down Syndrome Association of Central Oklahoma, we just want to take a moment and say thank you. Thank you to our families, our self-advocates, our donors, our volunteers, our board members, our sponsors, and every single person who has supported DSACO this past year. Because of you, our programs continue to grow, our community continues to thrive, and our mission continues to make a real difference in so many lives of those individuals with Down syndrome.
Oh, totally agree. This year there has been so much growth, from life skills programs to advocacy efforts to community events, fundraising, and outreach. It continues to expand across all of Oklahoma. And as we move into the holiday season, it reminds me of why this community really feels like more of a family than it does anything else.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, this holiday season, it's really a season about giving, reflection, and hope. And we are so grateful for the generosity that allows us to keep supporting individuals with Down syndrome and their families all year long. If you're still thinking about our end of the year giving, your support truly makes an impact in helping us provide the programs, education, and resources well into the year. So thank you, and hopefully you will get online and give us an end of the year donation gift. So a couple of things I want to remind you about. We have our upcoming fashion show, Kathy, January 30th. That's on a Friday night. Get your tickets now. Tickets are on sale. You can go to DSACO.org/fashion show. We have general admission tickets for $50, or you can get our VIP tickets, which will go fast, which includes dinner and drinks at the Criterion. We hope everybody will come out and support our amazing models, and we have some special things in store for you at the show this year. So make sure you get there promptly at 5:30 for the pre-reception, and there will be a pre-show of activities. We're also going to have silent auction items, raffles, as well as our live auction items. And so stay tuned and be informed on that, and follow us on Facebook.
But most importantly, the self-advocates who are going to bring the show.
Oh,
the show's going to be
absolutely.
great this year.
I can't wait for y'all to see their amazing outfits, because they're going to be a real big showstopper. Also, our calendar applications are out, so that means we're also looking for sponsors to support our 2027 calendar. So if you would like for more information on that, Addie will post a link, but also you can email us at info@dsaco.org. And then we're looking for board members. So our board applications are also posted on our website. We'll be sure and share a link there as well for anybody who would like to get more involved in the organization and become a leader and a board member. We would greatly appreciate it. We have several board members who are rotating off this year, so we would love to have the leadership to help us direct us into the next few years. But with that being said, Kathy, oh my gosh, we have had a year. It's been so busy. And, when we started this podcast, you and I had no idea what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
And we kind of started off, we've talked about, health issues. We've dived into how to apply for the waiver. We've talked about guardianship stuff. We've
Siblings, which was one of my favorite episodes.
That was the best one. DRS.
Yeah.
We had Lucia on for IEPs, so that was another great one.
OT items or things
And
to
you
help.
can go back to check the OT one, because Jessica has some ideas for Christmas gifts for sensory-based issues. So that's kind of fun. And all in all, I think, we've covered most of the bases, but, we just wanted to kind of dive in and see where this kind of led to. And you and I have kind of also...
I've been invited back for the last episode. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah. But we've learned a lot just in talking and researching and figuring some things out. And a lot has evolved since then. By the way, we do have a potty training workshop that's coming up. But all in all, we've figured that this podcast has really been a great resource. And we have followers really pretty much all over the United States, not just here in Oklahoma. So everybody's kind of getting out there and being known. But you had touched on that the sibling podcast was your favorite.
Yes.
What were a couple of takeaways from that?
I don't know. I just think it's cool to see how you see how it affects everybody in the family, and it affects the parents differently than it does the siblings, and how And I was so in awe of some, just how grown up some of those kids are. And that we have been in this part, since Addie's been here for 19 years, and we've seen a lot of those kids grow up in this. And it's just really cool to see how they are going to be really good self-advocates, advocates for our loved ones that they may end up having to live with them someday, or they may end up having to manage their care someday, or and it just, it was just I thought it was a great episode. So.
Yeah, I did too. And I think as far as like nitty gritty resource, Lucia's was very insightful.
Yes, yeah.
And as well as Renee's talking about DRS services. And some parents that, are new parents out there are probably like, I don't have to worry about that yet, but you kind of do.
You need to start. Yes, you do need to start early, because some of those things you think I don't need to worry about, and then it immediately is there, and you don't even know that it's there. So
you blink and your children turn 3, and you got to start school or figure out some kind of education process, whether that's homeschool or public school or private school. We can deep dive into all 3 of those and give you some information of what's worked, or connect you with parents that are doing any of those 3 things.
I think that's been one of the biggest things, is the connections. That, they see that somebody sees an episode and they're like, oh, I forgot about this. I need to look into this, or I need to call this person, or I need to connect with this person. And I think that's been one of the greatest things about the podcast this year.
I think I've had a couple of moms that are like, oh, I was able to go back and listen because I remembered you all said something about an instant. And I think being able to go back, because so many times we just get overwhelmed, and it's a lot to take in. And you and I even have talked about this, that, there's not a big enough notebook to write everything down. So hopefully this podcast really just becomes more of like a resource. Oh, I remember this was a podcast on, this service. So I'll go back and see what was mentioned about that. I know since then, when we did the podcast on the wait list, we had quite a few families apply and call us and do the sit downs. By the way, we will do that. If you haven't applied for the waiver, I encourage you to do so. And also to make sure that if you need some help in asking all the questions or figuring out your plan, to call Kathy or I. We can schedule an appointment. We can do a Zoom call. We can do it in person. We can do it over the phone, whatever works best for your schedule. And if it has to be in the evening time, because that's the only time that works for you, great. Just let us know. But I think the word is out, the buzz is out, and people are getting that. But I'm kind of excited because I have some great ideas for the next podcast series.
So do you?
Yes. So
give a little teaser.
Well, I think we're going to talk about diabetes and heart conditions, and Global has all that research going on for the Include project, and there's so much to dive in about the research that's being done with Down syndrome, particularly in the fact that people with Down syndrome are now included in clinical trials, period, and the fact that they were excluded for years because they didn't think their life really mattered, and it was not pertinent to the life expectancy. Now they know that there is. So I'm going to try to get some things scheduled for that. And then, of course, if our listeners out there have any ideas of, I want to learn more about this, or I need information on this, we're happy to take a deep dive into our podcast and figure it out. But I know since we started the podcast, you've had a big life change with Addie.
Oh God, yeah, it's been a lot.
Do you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's way easier now.
Yeah.
It was a big adjustment. It was a big change. Mostly the scheduling part.
Yeah.
And I think she's learned a lot, and I think I've learned a lot. I think I had to learn to let go of some of the control that I felt like I had to have for her.
So for those who don't know, Addie got accepted in the University of Oklahoma, and she's in the Sooner Works program.
Yes.
And so she started college.
Yes.
And
so navigating that was hard in general, but then she's also a roughneck little sis, which was another thing we had to learn how to navigate. And so did they. I mean, the Roughnecks had never done that before,
right.
So they have welcomed her. They had not. Well, the mascots, Marcus was a mascot, but they're starting to learn, and not to the level that Addie's been immersed into this, which has been great. But they've also had to learn that with Down syndrome, there do come some accommodations or some things that you have to help a little bit. But they've also had to learn that she's more capable than you think she is. You know, all of them are. So we've had some of that, some growth there.
So just what was it like taking her that what was it like that first week? Because
to college, dropping her off and
with
leaving
our
her?
kids.
Oh, it was
24/7.
It was.
How do you adjust with not having them 24/7?
It was. Well, I feel like we knew for the last 3 years for sure that was what her goal was.
Yeah.
And so I felt like we had prepared her good enough.
Yeah.
But we had not. We had, but we had not. I hadn't prepared myself enough,
Yeah.
I think it was more that. She is fine, and she does not want to come home, and she is great where she is, but she also needs some help reminding, you got to turn these assignments in. You've got to be where you're supposed to be. You don't tell your one HTS to come take you one place and then forget that you've told the HTS and then schedule something else. And,
So what things did you have to put in place to help her with her with her schedule?
Well, they at OU, they have a Remind app. And so they weren't helping her put that in initially. They were just thinking she would do it all.
Yeah.
And so we met, and they are now helping her. Now, that was about 4 weeks ago. Now she's starting to do it on her own.
Oh, good.
And she's putting in all of her activities and things. Sometimes she still forgets to check it.
Right.
But so it was a lot of that. And it was a lot of me not, just letting her fail. If she's going to screw up, she's going to screw up, and I need to let her fail because now's the time to let her fail. Right. It is scary though, because she's in a regular dorm by herself with another Sooner Works, sweet mate. She would like to correct us all every time I call it her roommate, because they are sweet mates.
Sweet mates.
But it was a lot of that. It was a lot of learning that. It was a lot of the scheduling stuff was a big thing. And it was me pulling back and letting her do the stuff and letting her fail. Kevin, my husband, said to me, I thought you said you weren't going to do this for her anymore. And I can't even remember what it was. And I was like, you're right. He is right. I was, I did need to step back, and I feel like I'm doing a better job at that now, but it was ridiculously hard.
Well, I remember there were a couple of times and you were telling me, this happened or that. And I was like, Kathy, that's what the typical college student.
I know.
Like when Addie went off to school, she messed up and forgot her class or didn't turn something in. And so really, it was kind of nice to hear that she was making the same mistakes as everyone else.
Yes, definitely.
And I wouldn't even call them mistakes. They're learning experiences.
Growth.
And, every kid going off to college is just hard. It's hard sending any child. And I know the anxiety that probably comes with sending an individual, with disabilities. But I think you've done a great job.
Yeah,
she's thriving.
She is doing amazing. She's loving every bit of it. But it was a big adjustment, and I think we're going to have a big. Well, we can do a recap of the Christmas break with her at home. She will have to go back to several times because she's got to work, do some basketball games and stuff.
Right.
But other than that, she probably does not want to move back in our house. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
How long will she be home? 3 weeks?
It's a month, because they don't start back until the 20th, to the day after MLK Day. So
Oh man, I don't know. That's not a goal of ours right now.
Yeah.
But I would have a hard time. I was telling another mom the other day, I just miss Kirsten so much, like during the day even, and even trying to be away from her sometimes for even a weekend. It's just hard. And it has nothing to do with her. She doesn't want me around.
Yeah.
It's just, who's going to make sure she gets her medicine, and who's going to make sure, she gets dressed and bathed, and all the scheduling stuff.
It's letting go. I know.
Because then I don't even remember.
You're not needed. You're not needed.
But it's
as
just
much.
that presence.
Yeah. It is hard. It is hard.
But yeah, and then.
But I think all of our families, if it is something that they are capable of doing, that you need, it is good to, and maybe not to college or something, but maybe even living on their own, or setting some boundaries in your house where whatever they do in that side of the house is their responsibility, and maybe they just need to check in once a week. But for us to continuously remind them or nag them or tell them they don't want that. They
don't.
I didn't want that when I was getting older and my parent, I was starting to make decisions on my own. I don't want somebody, and Addie doesn't want that either. So
Kirsten really doesn't either.
I know. And that's the hard part for us.
I don't really even have to remind her to do things. Like, she just knows I'm going to do these chores when I get home. And that's kind of her schedule or her routine. Or she'll seek out and be like, oh, well, the dishwasher needs to be unloaded, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I mean, I wouldn't say that's happened overnight. It's just part of it's her OCD too. But she wants to be helpful. She wants to do those things. And there's really no reward in it, except maybe a self-award, like she accomplished that. That's about it. But Kirsten's had some health issues this last month. We still don't have them all resolved. But I would just tell listeners out there, if you're on the fence and your child's having any kind of health implication and doctors aren't quite sure, I'm just going to recommend everybody go to the C Center and identify her.
I agree.
If I knew today what I know, and Kirsten being, even 10 years younger, I would be there tomorrow, because they're going to check everything. And like I was telling another mom the other day, here in Oklahoma, the physicians and providers might see a couple of individuals with Down syndrome a year.
Yeah.
They see them every day.
That's all they see.
That's all they see. Mm-hmm. So they're going to know, oh, yes, these are some sensory-based issues related to autism, or here's how we can cope with that or deal with that, or here's some behavioral experts that know how to, help you in this situation. But basically for Kirsten, it's just been, her celiac disease. And then as a result of that has exacerbated into other autoimmune diseases that they don't even know. They just know her markers are high, and now she has these elevated liver enzymes. And now we did a biopsy of her stomach, and it doesn't look good. But I keep asking, like, what are the options, or what do we do? And they're like, well, this is how we would treat it. And I keep thinking in the back of my mind, well, yeah, for somebody who doesn't have Down syndrome that would, but maybe we need to up the ante for her or something else. So now we're trying to find an immunologist. So that's where we're at. But what I think really sucks is moving from child to adult care is hard. And I thought, oh, well, we'll just find a doctor and move on. And it hasn't been so easy. I mean, the doctors that we are now seeing for adult care, they've been really good. But you don't think about that until you're in the middle of it, that you've got to switch over to.
Well, and plus you were used to that same pediatrician or that same provider for a long time.
So you're going to start over.
And you feel comfortable with them, and they know some of the, weird, symptoms or whatever that your child had. But then now you got to start over, and you got to explain your whole story all over again.
Yes. So those of you that can stick with doctors through adulthood, yay for that. But we did have to switch over for GI, and she's seen a new rheumatologist. And I really like both of them very well. And they seem to be, researching and staying on top of it. But she can't go to the C Center because we weren't established as a patient prior to her being 18. Mm-hmm. So now we have to figure out an adult immunologist, and that specializes in autoimmune diseases with Down syndrome.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck finding that. I
think I'd be better off finding a diamond in the sands in Arkansas versus that. I don't know, but it's just become I don't know. That's kind of where we're at. But she's happy and healthy for the most part, and loves life and loves her transition program at school. Wasn't sure how that was going to go, but
that's good.
We've kind of had to work with the school and make some things happen and get creative. But at the same time, I'm okay with that, because then I'm able to tailor it to her likes and her wants and her needs, and then that just makes her more motivated to do the program. Mm-hmm. And also now she has 2 boyfriends.
Oh, do they know? So does Addie. Well, no, Addie has one boyfriend that has 2 girlfriends.
Okay. So that's kind of fun. But anyway, Addie says she has 3 boyfriends. I don't know about the 3rd one. I just know about the 2. Okay. But I don't know. One of the things we didn't get to talk about yet, but we'll have on the podcast is, we're now a DRS provider.
Oh, yeah.
So for families that have loved ones who are in transition, trying to find jobs, we have Megan, who is amazing here, and she will work with you and provide those services for job skills and training, and help find jobs that are meaningful. And I think right now we've got at least 5 clients with Down syndrome families that are going to be working with her. So that's really exciting.
Good. Yeah,
I can't wait to see where that
She
goes.
needs to be on the podcast because she's a wealth of information and stuff. Yeah,
Yes, just the process, because it is kind of confusing.
it is very.
Because you have to start with your counselor, and then you have to pick a provider to use, and a lot of people don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I know.
But we are one, and I'd much rather our families use us, because then we can help really hand to hand hold the guide the process better than just being thrown out to the wolves to anybody. And then just getting everybody on board with the DRS services too. But back to Kirsten, she's loving life, and of course loves the holidays. But and I've noticed, I don't know if parents really stress about the holidays. I used to, but anymore I'm just like, I'm over it. It is what it is. If there are the presents aren't all wrapped under the tree, who really cares? If not all of the decorations are put up, they're put up to whatever we want. But I just let Kirsten do the decorating anymore. It's
good.
I don't care. Yeah, and then she does it, and she's happy, and she loves that kind of stuff. But I have learned. Now, I used to be very controlling with all that, and everything had to be, immaculate. And,
those are some of the things that I've had to learn as a parent. I didn't realize how controlling I was with some of that stuff. And I was like, is it that big of a deal? Do we really need to worry about that? Does it really matter if she wears, her Crocs all the time? Does that really matter? No,
it doesn't.
And so stuff like that I do think that I've had to learn.
Yeah.
And
I just tell Kirsten, the temperature's this today.
Yeah, you decide.
You decide. You're picking.
You're cold. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, but we cannot wear a tennis dress in the middle of winter.
Well, and Addie doesn't like to wear leggings. She likes to wear flowy pants.
Oh.
But her roughneck little cinch dress in the freezing temperatures, and all the other girls have on these leggings, and the nude colored leggings,
I've seen
and
those.
I was like, you should. And she's like, I do not like to wear that. I don't want to wear it. And I was like, all right, then I don't want to hear one word that you're cold. And I didn't hear one word about her being cold at the last game.
Choices.
And I was like, that's fine. And all the other girls were like, aren't you cold? Aren't you freezing? And she was like, no.
Yeah.
Which maybe she was, but she wasn't about to let me hear a word about it.
Yeah. So. I mean, I think, like you said, going back to the beginning of the podcast, talking about letting some things go, I think that's really what we're trying to say. And hopefully, throughout all the podcasts, you're able to take away some things and let go of some things.
Yes. Yeah.
And in every part that we kind of talk about, because at some point we have to let things go so our kids can learn and grow from the experience.
Right.
And I mean, otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're not going to be here forever.
No.
And we've got to let them learn to be as independent as they can be for everybody's sake, for their sake, for the new caregiver's sake, for whatever path they end up taking or choosing or can do or can't do.
Yes.
We got to learn to let go and let them make some mistakes on their own.
We just finished our wills and trusts, which we're going to have a podcast on that too coming up, because it's really important. I didn't realize how important that really was and is until we kind of got in the weeds of doing it all. But it's, it's kind of like I feel like we've checked that box and I can take a deep breath now that I know Kirsten's taken care of. Like there's a plan for her when I'm not here.
Right.
And that does give me lessens my anxiety for sure. But if you haven't thought about it, my golly, you got to do it. That's just, I mean, it's expensive. It is so expensive, but it's worth every penny. I mean, we were so thankful for our attorneys that just kind of put everything together and guided us through the process. And they know all the laws and they keep up with all of that, especially pertaining to Kirsten in her SSI and her guardianship and then her lifelong care, and how these things don't do this because that will take this away from her. If you make this the beneficiary and do this, then it won't affect her. And so just learning all of those things is really been really, really helpful. But I will say I think I can die now.
You've done all your stuff. Your work here is done.
I've done it all. But anyway.
Okay.
And then, of course, it's been interesting to see how this podcast has evolved into other things. But, you know, we talk about health issues and we talk about independency issues, which all kind of work together. And you do not have guardianship, but kind of talk a little bit about your experience with Addie being over her health and wellness of her care.
Yeah, well, we do have power of attorney, so which helps us if she can go to the doctor on her own. She can do all these things on her own. If she needs help, she can tell us she wants us to be there and we can help her. Like she had to have a physical for some of the stuff at OU. She wanted me to be there, but she could have gone on her own and done, so I went with her. But if we needed to step in, we could, but we don't. But I mean,
you don't have to.
Yeah, so far, we don't have to. Is there going to be a day maybe down the road that we would have to? Yeah, there may be a time when she declines some, or maybe not. I mean, I don't know, and we're not gonna put any limits on her until we have to put some limits on her.
Yeah,
and so that's kind of the way we were with that.
You know what? Limits are okay.
Yeah, I do. I agree. And you have to know your kid, and you also have to be okay with the fact that, you know, for college, for us, college was a thing. For Kirsten, it may not be a thing.
Right.
And that's okay.
Absolutely.
Whatever is best for Kirsten is what we want to give her, and whatever is best for Addie is what I want to try to give them.
Same.
And same with all of our kids. Gosh, we went to the Christmas party this weekend for DSACO moms, and there were so many different moms there of so many different walks of life. And their kids are on so many different levels.
Yeah.
And it is okay to have your kid live with you for the rest of your life. But it is also okay for them not to have to live with you for the rest of your life. But it's more, in my opinion, it's more work on your internal work and your spiritual self and the parents
your
being okay with whatever has been given to you, whatever level your kid is at, you need to become okay with it. You need to learn how to be okay with that, because that's who they are. That's who they were meant to be, you know? And so that's what I think that's so important. And it's so funny anytime we get together with a group of people, I'm like, God, that kid does so many things like Addie. And I'm like, that kid does so many things like Kirsten. And that kid does so many things like Josie. But they're all, you know.
So different.
They're all so different, but they all have a lot of similar. Most of them are very nice and very kind and very loving, you know, until you piss them off.
Yeah.
And then they might not, or you talk to them like a baby.
Yes.
And they don't like Addie does not like that.
Oh,
she
Kirsten
does
told
not
me the
like
day
to be talked to. Yeah,
Well, I was like, come to the game with us, you know, we'll bundle you up. She's like, I'm not going. She did not want to go. And I said, but I want you to go. It was me. I wanted her to go. She did not go. And she told me that over and over. And she said, Mom, I've asked you nicely, and that's rude. And I was like, checkbox, okay. I mean, she totally put me in my place, which that is totally okay. Yeah. But you're right. I think
it's us being okay.
We got to just learn to let go.
Yeah.
We do. And that's so hard.
It is.
It is so hard. So don't really ask Kathy and I about letting go, but we can at least tell you our experience of how we let go little bits at a time. But I just think this last year has just been so much fun. I've been really enjoyed, you know, hosting the podcast and just sharing all about our families.
I feel like I've grown as this because I did not want to do a podcast. I did not want to be involved in this. And I feel like I actually got invited back to the last episode.
Yeah,
so that was it.
Wrapping it up for the season is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
it's fun. It's good. I feel like it's helping some of our parents, and that's all I want to do. I want to help parents learn that this is a rough walk sometimes, but this is a great walk sometimes. But it's that way with any of your.
So hopefully you'll have some takeaway from today's episode. We've kind of rambled a lot.
We have rambled, but I can't wait for the fashion show.
I know. This fashion show. So January 30th on a Friday night at the Criterion. Yep. Be there by 5:30 because we're going to have a pre-show, and it's going to be so much fun. And just seeing all those 20 4 models walking the runway is going to be incredible. And then we have some special MCs this year that I'm not going to announce yet.
Oh, fun.
We'll have to come and figure it out and see. And we might even have some special guests that will joining us. But get your tickets.
And if you get VIP tickets, you get upstairs and you get to have dinner and the stuff.
I mean, where can you go to watch a show and get dinner and have you seat and snacks and all that and have the best entertainment of the night? I mean, you can't do that for $150 anywhere else.
I know.
But we also have sponsorships. So you can still get those sponsorships in, and that really supports us in all of our initiatives that we're doing and other programs. So we're just so excited. But the fashion show, January 30th at the Criterion. Show starts at 5:30, but doors open at 5:30. Show starts promptly at 7 p.m. and we're so excited for that. But again, from all of us at the Down Syndrome Association, we just want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a joyful New Year. And just thank you for walking beside us in this year and just believing in our mission, believing in Kathy and I, and helping us build a stronger and more inclusive community. We're just so grateful for everybody. And we can't share what's next for 2026. It's going to be an exciting year with the fashion show. And we've got lots coming up for World Down Syndrome Day. And I want to just close with saying, we're doing a workshop for our self-advocates on entrepreneurship. So we're going to be sending out their business concepts.
I know, that'll be cool.
And let me tell you, they are amazing.
Yeah, I think so too. I came to the self-advocacy thing this weekend and I was shocked at all the companies and businesses that they're planning to open. But I want to end with telling you, thank you so much for all you have done for all of our families, because you lived this. It's crazy sometimes, but you're always here. You love our families. You can drive people crazy sometimes, and that's okay. That's what you're great about. That's what, you fight for the most, the underprivileged kid with Down syndrome and the one that has the most privilege. So I cannot thank you enough for that. So
thank you, Kathy.
I appreciate you. I love you.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh.
All right. Well, so with that,
oh my,
she didn't know I was going to say that.
No,
so.
I didn't.
And neither did I.
But I love it here. I love. I
do too. It's great.
I love the families. I love the kids. They are my life, and I can't imagine doing any other job. And they always say, you found your home whenever it doesn't feel like work, and this is not work to me. This is fun every day. Challenging,
yes,
and hard.
And frustrating, very frustrating when you're trying to advocate and you can't.
I was telling a dad yesterday because, it was pointed out to me by my oldest daughter. She's like, Mom, is there ever a day that you're not having to fight for something? And I said, no, there's not one day that Kirsten is not on my mind that I'm not thinking of the next step or the next thing that she needs.
See what I mean? And that's Sarah Sewell.
And the dad,
because there are some days it's not on my mind.
I don't know. And the dad was like, yeah, it's not. And so that can be, take a toll on your mental and physical health. So I just tell everybody out there, take some time for yourself this holiday season. Try not to worry too much. Try not to, take a breather. Yeah. Learn from Kathy and I to not stress about things. Yeah. But we're probably not the best at that. Anyway,
I'm getting better at it.
But same.
All right.
But anyway, we appreciate you all, and as always,
thanks for listening.
Keep advocating, keep showing up, and keep spreading inclusion wherever you go. And thank you so much for listening to our podcast. And look forward to seeing you all in 2026. Bye.
Bye.